Donald Trump, meanwhile, blasted Hillary Clinton during a speech last night in North Carolina. The presumptive GOP nominee laid into Clinton's judgment and accused her of an Enron-style purge of her email.
What's going on very big and big league is what you witnessed today and over the last week. From Bill Clinton going to the plane, just happened to be there. I wonder how long he waited. But for Bill Clinton to go to the plane and then to have what happened today, where essentially, everybody thought, based on what was being said, she was guilty. She was guilty. And it turned out that we're not going to press charges. It's really amazing. But I'll tell you, look, we have a rigged system, folks.
Major Garrett is in Washington. Major, just how effective was Donald Trump's rebuke yesterday, both with the tweets and with the speech last night?
Well, this was not a complicated matter for Donald Trump to make the case against Hillary Clinton using the words of the FBI Director James Comey. And I've been thinking about this for the last several hours overnight, and it almost seems to me that for a legal matter, James Comey could or could not have indicted. But from a purely political matter, he may have, by not bringing charges against Hillary Clinton, delivered to Donald Trump the biggest gift of this presidential campaign. And here's what I mean. If Hillary Clinton had been indicted, one of two things would have happened within the Democratic Party. She would have become a martyr, or she would have been replaced, and the Democrats would have had someone in the general election campaign not named Hillary Clinton and replaced her. Or she would have been a martyr, hounded by the Justice Department, hounded by the FBI in an unfair investigation, so on and so forth. But by not indicting Hillary Clinton, she now has all of the tainted rhetoric that came from James Comey, much of which not just undermined, but completely destroyed Hillary Clinton's own statements about what she did and didn't do in regards to classified information. All of that now hangs over Hillary Clinton in a purely political context. Yes, the legal troubles have been removed, but the political aspect of this continues, and it gives Donald Trump and every Republican, even those nervous about Donald Trump, uncomfortable with Donald Trump, a rallying cry against Hillary Clinton's judgment, her capabilities, and her own experience leading up to the presidency of the United States. And in that sense alone, setting aside the legal dynamics of this, the politics of this lay very well for Donald Trump and not very well for Hillary Clinton.
Right, and he jumped all over it, as we heard. He totally, took advantage of Comey's criticism of Hillary Clinton. He also bashed the president at a speech yesterday, but he did take time out to praise someone, Saddam Hussein. Let's listen to that.
Saddam Hussein was a bad guy, right? He was a bad guy, really bad guy. But you know what he did well? He killed terrorists. He did that so good. They didn't read him the rights. They didn't talk. They were a terrorist. It was over.
So now this is getting a lot of attention. This on a day that Donald Trump probably could have sort of laid back and let Comey's statements do all the work for him. What's going on here?
Right. Donald Trump could have used the FBI decision not to recommend charges as yet another piece of evidence that the system is rigged. That's been a talking point for Donald Trump in another context for months. All of that could have been absolutely pure political advantage for Donald Trump, and yet he wanders off into this fever swamp of dictatorial adoration, talking about yet another strongman who got things done. Well, yes, dictators tend to get things done because they trample on basic civil liberties. And to say that about Saddam Hussein is a grotesque understatement. 300,000 Iraqis died under the hands of the Saddam Hussein regime. Thousands more were tortured. Hundreds of thousands were jailed. It was a dictatorial regime. I'm sure some terrorists were caught up in that dragnet, but Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, the United Nations, many organizations said, along with perhaps terrorists were caught up in that dragnet, thousands upon hundreds of thousands of innocent Iraqis were as well. And the praise that Donald Trump, even though it was sort of sideways, brought a lot of condemnation from conservatives and Republicans who said, what are you doing? A, why are you talking about this? And what is your sort of general fascination with dictatorial strongmen like Mussolini, like Vladimir Putin? Why don't you get off that? Because you continue to make nervous those who wonder about your actual orientation to the vast powers of the presidency and what those ideas about that power might be. Cool it, was the instantaneous reaction on Twitter last night.
Yeah, Major, at one point he's talking clearly about the rule of law when it comes to Hillary Clinton, and then in the same breath when he mentions Saddam Hussein, he says, we didn't read him his rights. Again, sort of saying, like, if you're a strong man, you can be above the law. Yeah, Major Garrett, thank you so much for your reporting in Washington, Major.
Sure.
Thanks.
You got it.